you're the thing. I don't need to walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in. Don't need to walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in. But I can't sign out that you made the move. It has gone and gone to dogs. Lay down on the floor. For the right price, I can get everything. Slip into the car, go driving to the farthest star. I don't need to walk around in circles, walk up in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in. Don't need to walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in. Don't need to walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in circles, walk around in.
Do we have our screensavers up?
I just want to make sure the video's playing back.
Okay.
It's
It's finger.
but it's not playing back. Huh. Hold on a sec. It's not playing back. All right, should we get this show started? This is Middle Earth, the adventure ahead. I hope you're all in the right room because we're all Lord of the Rings fans here, right? Right here is Clifford Broadway, the producer of Ringers, Lord of the Fans, and host of Torn Tuesday.
It's a pleasure. It's great to see you guys. Right here, this is my co-host on the live show. This is Justin Sewell. And as we are representing TheOneRing.net, we're very proud of the legacy of having an all-volunteer, completely all-volunteer website run by fans for fans who love J.R.R. Tolkien. We are the longest running web portal for Tolkien fandom in the world.
Well, we've got some awesome special guests that we're very lucky to have on stage with us this week to tell us all about what the future holds for Lord of the Rings. So I'm just going to introduce them one by one. The VP of Creative and Product Development, John Mayo of Middle Earth Enterprises. Also for Middle Earth Enterprises is the Steward of Brand and Licensing, Frederica Drotos. And the General Manager and Head of Franchise Development for Middle Earth Enterprises, Jay Comas. Also joining our panel is the always wonderful Sir Richard Taylor.
Oscar winner, multiple Oscar winner, Richard Taylor.
And we have some other special guests here that we're really excited to have on stage for the very first time, including our friends from Berg Schneider, all the way from Germany, Bale Miller.
Bale Miller is the director of Middle Earth Adventures, and he's the creator of the Brandywine Festival, which is happening this year in mid-October in Kentucky.
And if you've played the very fun dwarven game Return to Moria, we've got the developer here, John Paul Dumont. And everyone's favorite YouTuber, Nerd of the Rings, Matt Graff. And he begged me to crash the panel. So he is the only actor to span across all of the film adaptations of Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Rings of Power, Mr. Jed Brophy. So, who saw the Prancing Pony booth? This is the first time we've ever had an official Lord of the Rings booth at Comic-Con. So, and the company that brought it to you wasn't Amazon, wasn't Warner Brothers. It was the stewards of Middle-earth at Middle-earth Enterprises. So, John Mayo, tell us why now in 2025 and why the Prancing Pony?
Why now? I've been involved with this brand for 25 years, and New Line, Warner Brothers, I've been through all the films. 2 years ago, I got a great offer to come to Middle-earth again, and we were trying to figure out, we really want to connect with the fans and have direct conversations about what you're looking for. And last year, I dragged my CEO here. He didn't want to come. And he saw the value. He said, I understand now. So you could have a booth next year. So, yeah. And, but we didn't get the green light till very late, so we had 1 month to build and design and build that booth. It was literally being painted on Thursday of last week, crated up. But I wanted to provide an experience, something that you could come in and not only be in Middle-earth, but feel like The Hobbit. So I hope we delivered. I hope you like it.
Well, Jed, you were on set for The Hobbit where you have all those scale sets. Does it feel like being back on set again?
Yeah, I mean, we had the value of having a shrinking ray back in those days. And they put us through it. They shrunk us and enlarged us and shrunk. No, it was just like that. Beyond set was like this. The people from Weta Workshop and the construction crew made this amazing set out of incredible material that was all oversized. Even the vegetables, giant pumpkins and giant kind of bits of fruit and giant salt and pepper shakers and giant steins. And my character, being a thief, tried to steal stuff from every set. There was just no room in my costume for any of that. So yeah, and then Bjorn's house down in Paradise, the most incredible set, built out of proper wood, down in the middle of the forest. So it was just like being back there. So well done on your amazing creation.
Thank you.
Well, it's not the first time that an oversized Prancing Pony bar has been seen in public, because we found some reports from Cannes Festival back in 2001, before anyone had seen Lord of the Rings. They previewed 20 minutes of the movie at Cannes, and Richard, you were there, and what was that first response like?
Yeah, well, we were filled with trepidation going across the world, as you could imagine, and I was saying just the other day how the lead up, we were doing junkets every day leading up to this amazing evening, and there was a great deal of uncertainty and cynicism, would be a fair way to put it, from the press. One of my most famous or infamous questions I've ever been asked, a young press person asked me whether I was embarrassed that we'd plagiarized Gollum from Dobby. Such was the misunderstanding of the lineage of Tolkien's mythopia, modern mythopia for Britain and out to the world. But sitting in the auditorium that day with 2,500 people, almost all international press people, and there was an uncertain silence before the 20 minutes played, and it then played. For me, it was the running down the stairs of Khazad-dûm was the highlight of the sequence, when they come out of the Mazibul Hall and run down the stairs, cross the bridge, etc. But there was a lot more than that. And it finished, and there was silence again. And I'm like, and there's that cold feeling that runs through your body. And I was like, oh no. And then there was a, and people were jumping to their feet. And I saw people who literally had goaded us on how the people that made Brain Dead and Meet the Feebles could possibly make Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And here they were. And then for the next few days, we would meet the press in the streets, and they'd come up, and people were openly crying because of their connection to the books. And I promised I'd mention one other thing. When we were getting our makeup done for the junkets up in the castle, Tanya and I would sit there, and we'd become very good friends with Christopher Lee at this point. And he would stand in the halls of this castle singing in his beautiful baritone voice opera while we were all getting ready for each day. And he would just entertain us by singing opera. And that's a very, very special memory. This is one of the great moments of euphoria, walking the red carpet in Wellington at the premiere of the first film. And that moment when the press rose to their feet and clapped. Yeah. Cool.
So that's at Cannes in 2001. John, you just wanted to recreate the bar there, or?
Well, I didn't get invited to that Cannes Film Festival. I wasn't high enough on the totem pole, but
You got
yes,
your revenge this year.
I heard about the experience of people walking in. They had set up the prancing pony there at the. It was one of many things they brought up to.
It was all art department did it. We provided the makeup and the weapons and so on, but art department built everything. They went ahead and built a hobbit hole and other amazing things.
So yeah, I thought it would be fun. I mean, we were very gracious, appreciative that Dark Horse was so gracious to share some of their space with us. It was a little bit of a tighter space than I would have hoped for, so I'm like, well, I want to do something big, but we have a very limited footprint. So I hope it worked out. I think it's fun.
Did it work out? Well, and by the way, that's not the only big booth that was here this year, because it's been a few years since we've seen Weta return to the show floor. Have you guys been to the Weta booth?
Everyone. Thank you to everyone that's come up and welcomed us back. We haven't not been here. We just haven't had a stand since COVID. It's been so lovely, the warm reception that we've received. And it's also great having a place to meet friends, right? Otherwise, you're sort of just lost in the mosh pit of Comic-Con. So.
And you brought something big to show at that booth. We couldn't even fit it here.
Yeah, we bought our most significant collectible to date, our Masters Collection Fellowship. We've been talking about how do you do a collectible of the whole of the Fellowship for 25 years since we started the collectibles line. We started the collectibles line all thanks to our dear friend John here, who was there on the first day when we pitched the idea to New Line, when Christopher Lee kindly signed our first sculpture of Saruman encanting the Palantir. And I flew to New York to try and convince John and his colleagues that we were worthy recipients of this license. But we could never really figure it out because we realized, people like you and us, we don't have real estate as big as these 3 benches to put the fellowship on. And then finally, Jules, who's the head of our creative development in our collectibles division, came up finally with the idea of them ascending the stairs in Moria, and that was it. It's taken a year and a half to make, and every sculptor at Weta and every model maker's worked on it, and I've noodled it to the last moment before it got sent out here, and we're very, very proud of it. Yeah.
And there's no glass in front of it. All your collectibles, for the first time, are just out in the open.
Yeah, well, I get deeply frustrated when I can't take photographs through smeary glass and you're pushing your cell phone against the glass, but then you're too close to get the... So thankfully, Kim, who runs our collectibles division, and Lisa made the call to keep the glass off. And that requires trust. And 4 days now, not a single piece has been broken or taken. So that's the community of Comic-Con right there.
That sounds like a bit of a challenge for Nori.
You've got a few hours.
I sure do.
Keep an eye on him.
Now you mentioned the Middle Earth booth at inside the Dark Horse Comics booth. Now I need some clarity on how this Middle Earth Enterprises thing works. Like Dark Horse is a sister company, and I've heard something about Embracer Group. Jay, can you kind of enlighten us on who is Middle Earth?
Sure.
Sure, Jay.
Yeah. Well, we are the stewards of, as you all probably know, but just in case, the stewards of the literary works of Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit. And within the group, we have a number of major intellectual properties like Lara Croft, which is part of Crystal Dynamics, and a number of large developers. Embracer Group is quite a large group, but it's in the process of being reorganized. And within that is, of course, Middle Earth Enterprises. We'll be operating within the Embracer Group, which will be renamed Fellowship Entertainment very shortly. The name's meant to sort of bring to mind the bringing together of a number of talented people to even greater effect than they could be on their own. And so, as Fellowship Entertainment, we're looking to take Middle Earth Enterprises and the intellectual property and create deep, authentic, wonderful experiences. So as part of the reorganization, Middle Earth Enterprises itself will stay a licensor within the group. Companies within the group will continue to license the intellectual property for development and publishing. The beauty of what we're doing now, though, is that we'll be able to work much more closely with those companies as part of the Fellowship Entertainment group, where ordinarily you're working with individual companies on a game-by-game basis. We now have the luxury of coordinating across a number of studios to create a true plan for the long term. And Embracer has owned Middle Earth Enterprises for a couple of years now, and by a lot of measures, you might say, well, we're off to a bit of a slow start, but that's actually intentional. The idea is that we're trying to build something that stands the test of time, something that can take the Middle Earth and make it a generational experience, cross generations and for generations to come. So it really gives us the luxury of working closely with top-tier creators within Fellowship Entertainment to hopefully make some great experiences for you all to enjoy.
Frederica, you've been involved with Middle Earth Enterprises when it was called the Saul Zaentz Company, and you've been coming to Comic-Con. What vibe are you feeling now that this is the first time?
Yeah, the first time Middle Earth Enterprises or Tolkien Enterprises prior has ever had a presence aside from being a licensor for the entities that had presences here. And I think it's one of the most exciting things that's happened for us. And to Jay's point, it's been a couple years since the Embracer Group purchased Middle Earth Enterprises, but the fact that they've taken a few years to get to this day, I think is a great example of the kind of stewardship this company believes in, that we're looking at generational long-term, not just, oh, let's quick get something out there and, run away and sell the property off to somebody else. No, let's keep it, let's honor it, let's really be good stewards. And I hope, I think, my humble opinion is that the Prancing Pony is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And at Comic-Con, I will say, and there have been some very cool things here. So thank you, John, and thank you, Bale, and thanks everyone who was involved in making it what it is. I have been with the property for a long time, and I saw it go from exciting to it was quiet and then back to exciting again. In fact, that company was the one that was really keen to have Peter Jackson make those films, the company, the Saul Zaentz Company. But then things slowed down, and it got quiet. We had enthusiasm in our small group, and when we got purchased, we felt like the property was given a new lease on life. So that's the road ahead, is the great partnership with all these fine folks here. from even thieves. You know, we welcome all. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the road ahead, John, you're just getting started this year because you're building something interesting with the guy at the end of the table, aren't you?
Yes, very interesting. We have the Brandywine Festival coming up. That's very exciting, and Bayo will talk more about that. There's some stuff that John Paul would like to talk about. But next year is the 25th anniversary of the release of Fellowship of the Ring, and so all I can say is Warner is very busy planning special things, and we have yet to learn more details, but it's very, very nice that they're involved. Peter Jackson's very excited, so it should be some really great things.
The unicorn edition of the movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still looking for the version with like a 26-hour behind the scenes. I just want to see.
Yes. Yes. Call up Michael Pellerin. Yes.
Well, we don't have anyone from Warner Brothers on this panel, so I'm sure no one can speak to the new movie coming out. But are you all excited about The Hunt for Gollum? It's going to be directed by Andy Serkis, who did amazing work on the Apes movies, and he's going to take all those learnings of shooting apes in real forests and real locations, and he's going to do amazing things. Have they called you yet, Jed?
I'm waiting for them to make Jed of the Rings. I play all the characters, and they all die. Everybody dies. Like everybody, I'm really excited to see Andy. He was our second unit director on Lord of the Rings, and he's a real actor's director. I've been lucky enough to be directed by him 3 or 4 times now, and he really understands the actor's process. He understands the motivation that each character needs, but he's also, like Peter, he's someone who has a friendly and fun set. Hardworking, but friendly and fun. But he is also meticulous and possibly the most humble director I've ever met on the planet. So I think it's in really, really good hands. I love the fact that the intellectual property of New Zealand is going to be once again used, because that whole country was part of the making of these movies, and the fact that it's going back there, I think, is the most incredible thing that could happen. So, yeah, I'm excited. Whether they call me or not, I will be there and available.
If I could just warn everyone, though, that when they do make Jed of the Rings, it unfortunately won't have any lovely scenery or sets, because he would have chewed his way through it all.
That is true. I am a ham.
Speaking of playing many characters, you guys are introducing the opportunity for fans to play a bunch of characters.
Yeah, we are.
Tell us more about the Brandywine Festival.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. We were just talking about this before I came up today. 10 years ago, roughly 10 years ago, my first time coming to Comic-Con San Diego was to talk on a panel with 3 others. I think the room had 20 people in it, about LARP. And back then, we had all these amazing starry-eyed ideas of what would it be like if we could actually work on projects that we dream about. We create our own worlds. What happens when we get to step into worlds that we've grown up loving? And now, second time to San Diego Comic-Con, I'm sitting here talking about doing just that. And I think there's something truly special about that for me and for the rest of the people who grew up LARPing and grew up watching The Lord of the Rings and reading the books. And that's effectively what we're going to get to do here. We're going to offer the opportunity for people to step into Middle-earth in an entirely new way, with a completely 360-degree level of immersion where you are part of the story. You're part of telling the story and part of being a character within it. So the Brandywine Festival is a chance for you to do just that. Become a hobbit for 5 days with 1,000 other people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's the other fun part that really makes it so exciting, is that Middle-earth Adventures, and John and Frederica and I and Joel and the rest of the team really have been talking about this for, I think it's been almost 2 years now, of really kind of diving into, what are other ways that we can explore Middle Earth and bring people into it in a new way. And I think what became so exciting was that we realized, Brandywine Festival is the place we start, but it's by no means the only place we're going to stay. So the idea of exploring other parts of Middle Earth and being able to play those things out with thousands of people, not just there in Kentucky where we're doing it, this year and annually moving forward, but all over the world, which also is super exciting to be able to announce today. The event won't just be staying in Kentucky or in the United States, but we'll be launching Brandywine Festival in the UK, and we'll be launching those tickets later this year.
Matt, I'm gonna need a lore video on what LARP is.
On what LARP is?
Yeah.
The thing I love, Bale and I have been working together on some of the lore behind the Brandywine Festival, and there's some great stuff that we've worked in. We've been going through concerning hobbits and the appendices like crazy.
I think it's 600 times in the last year and a half.
It's
crazy.
yeah. I mean, to give you a little bit of a tease, some of the things like the different farthings, you get these little hints of like how the hobbits view other hobbits from parts of the Shire, like, oh, those Bucklanders, like, and they likewise to the others.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting. We've come up with like problems that Tolkien has given us solutions to.
It's so great to find those as well. It's so great.
So one of the examples is shoes. Yeah, like hobbits go barefoot, right?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out in the East Farthing, where this event is, we know that hobbits often wore dwarven-made boots. And so can I tell them the
go ahead.
NPC?
I think
okay.
we haven't talked about it, but we might as well just go ahead.
Yeah, we might as well tell them. Okay, so I'm going to be an NPC at the event. I'm going to be playing a dwarven boot merchant. So I will be there with some boots for people. And
I can't wait to accost you. As an NPC, the players are going to just make your life hell, which makes this so much more fun.
It's going to be so fun, though.
It's going to be so great. It's going to be so much
the
fun.
same thing you say on loop every time someone walks up.
Yeah. And hello there. You need boots. Like just 700 times later. I mean, that's actually so cool that you bring that up because it's that co-creative process, right? NPCs are still people. They're not programmed. They don't have the same 6 dialogue lines. They have. It's a person who understands the lore and they've read the books the same we have. And over the time that they're playing that character, they get to know the people that interact with them.
Yeah.
It makes that world feel real and exposes players the opportunity to become part of the story in a way that reading or playing a game sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm going to have some Kuzdual, like, frustration phrases to use. So if you're going, brush up so you might hear me venting a little bit.
I love it. Yeah.
Does that sound like what it was like on set?
I just want to know if the Duran's family get a cut of these boots that you're selling? Because I'm pretty sure, the design came... No.
You're going to have to talk with this guy about it. I'm just the writer.
Yeah, we had these amazing boots made by Ben at Weta Workshop that went on top of our boots to make our feet twice as big. Looking at the scale here, to make the dwarves seem smaller, everything that went onto us was wider and bigger. And the costume department and the leather department made these incredible. So I will be looking at the quality of what you're doing there and inspecting them and seeing if they're really coastal. And also your pronunciation.
All right.
If I was to say to you,
pressure.
Ifrid Usul Kazad, would you know what I was saying?
In the spirit of fellowship.
Oh, okay then.
Wrong panel to challenge.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
Osprey Draker.
Well, live action role playing and gaming in person is just one way people connect with Lord of the Rings now. And one of the most popular recent video games has been Return to Moria. John Paul, what have you learned about the Lord of the Rings community jumping in to this brand?
Yeah, we set out to make Return to Moria, which has been out for about a year and a half. Actually, has anyone played it? Okay, we got some players. Hopefully you came by the booth. So when we started working on the game, we wanted it to be for fans and by fans. And in fact, I remember, it's kind of surreal for me to be on a OneRing.net because I remember joining it 2 years before the movies, looking for every little set picture and report that I could. That was part of my fandom. So what we wanted to do, we knew that the Lord of the Rings and the Middle-earth fandom was one that was very active and very positive and very collaborative. So we started our community mostly through Discord a year before we shipped. We started running ideas, letting them speculate, play testing, and then when the game came out in 2023, that fandom, that support, that community grew into YouTube and Reddit and many other places. And we've been using that, and that's really fueled us as we've continued. We've updated the game 22 times since it came out. We pride ourselves on reading everything someone puts in one of our community channels, every support ticket, every idea, every bug, every problem. And so the last year and a half has really been about Return to Moria, just getting better with that feedback and iterating. And as we go into 2025, what we wanted was to give something back to the community by giving them the thing that they have been asking for more than anything else, which is to take the game beyond where it ended. And so that's where we've got a teaser video to show.
Your story doesn't end here. Oh no. The Forge's fire is no longer cold.
This place will one day be filled with dwarves again.
Khazad-dûm is the home of Durin's folk.
So, Durin's Folk is a story expansion for Return to Moria. You can go and wishlist it now. It is going to not only improve the original game to really fulfill the vision we always had, but it will take the game beyond the end of the campaign as it originally shipped. And the players will now be able to recruit dwarves from every clan to move into Moria and help them rebuild it. And to craft and trade with other peoples of Middle-earth, and to eventually discover a whole new chapter of story. So you can wishlist that now, and then late summer, early fall, we'll have a release trailer with the actual release date on it. So we're really excited to get this out.
Well, there's another Lord of the Rings coming out. Anyone know that there's a game coming out on Tuesday? Well, let's hear from the man himself. Weta Workshop made a game.
Yep. So, of course, we've been very fortunate to have worked on the 2 trilogies on Rings of Power, Riders of Rohirrim. Our collectibles line have kept us attached to you guys for the last 25 years, as long as I've been coming to Comic-Con. But we obviously want to stay as in this world as we possibly can. When we got to the end of Lord of the Rings, everyone was celebrating that the 7.5-year Odyssey had been finished with great joy and success. And I fell into a real funk because I couldn't bear the fact that I was going to leave Middle-earth. I've talked about this with my dear friend Jed on many occasions, and he was exactly the same. It felt desperate, actually, and it was only because Andrew Adamson phoned me 6 months later to tell me that he'd like us to work on Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe that I actually lifted out of it. And so every conversation we have around Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth at Weta Workshop is about how do we stay in this world. And so a number of years ago we started talking about the idea of making a game. It came out of the back of the work we'd been doing with Magic Leap, making the wonderful mixed reality game of Invaders, the same team of, a large group of the same team of people. So Tales of the Shire is coming very shortly. We're very excited. It is a beautiful game. It allows you to live in the Shire of Bywater and exist as a hobbit with your family and friends, you grow your own vegetables, you make your own meals, you serve them up, you create a community of love and joy and affection, and it is very cozy and very sweet, and there's no orcs attacking and no need for the dwarves to swoop in. But I hope you play it, I hope you enjoy it. It's been made with the deepest of love and enthusiasm by the people that have created it. Stephen Lambert, who's been designing with us for over 2 decades, designed this along with his team, and we are very proud. So, cool.
This looks great. This looks really great, Richard. This looks great.
Matt, you were part of the beta, and I remember watching your stream making a bunch of voices.
Oh, yeah. I got really into it because, the dialogue comes up, and so I was trying to do different voices for each of the characters, which apparently that was a common thing. A lot of people streaming kind of leaned into that, and it was a lot of fun.
And as the screen says right there, it's on every console there, PS5, Xbox, Switch, and Steam. So you can play it on all the platforms. But there's so much news. I'm getting beeped. There's so much news that we can't cover today. But that's one of the reasons Middle Earth is here, to keep you guys up to date on stuff. So, John, tell us a little bit about the newsletter idea.
Well, this is really, Frederica reminded us that in the 80s there was a physical mailed newsletter quarterly, and I think Cliff knows a lot about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it was the Brandywine Star.
Yes.
And Frederica unearthed some copies from the archives. Those are original.
Cliff, you weren't lying to me? Like, that really
I was
existed?
not lying to you. I mean, way before the internet was ever a fever dream that Al Gore and people at MIT could think of, this was the only way that the fandom could communicate with one another. And this is the period of time in the late 70s, going into the early 80s, where fans, if it was your rock and roll band or if it was your favorite science fiction, fans would print their own zines, fanzines. And the wonderful people in Berkeley, California were like, we need to get in on this. And I was, heavens to Betsy, I was 11 years old, maybe 12, and I cannot tell you the anticipation that I had going to the mailbox only 4 times a year. What's in there? That beautiful newsletter that had jigsaw, crossword puzzles, recipes, scholarly articles, letters to the editor, and this was a gem, and merch. Yeah. And at that time, there was still Ralph Bakshi little acrylic keychains and brass belt buckles.
Stickers.
And stickers.
Yeah.
It was the most beautiful thing, and the fact that it's coming back it's just so organic to have something physical like this piece of paper. You're not doom scrolling on your phone. You're Jean-Luc Picard in your ready room with a real physical copy of Shakespeare. Yeah. So there's this physical newsletter that came in to the mail, and it was the most lovely experience because you realized you had a connection with other people you hadn't met yet. You couldn't talk to them on a message board, but you had a connection to your fandom in a very special way. And to have it come back like this is really super exciting. Really.
We should probably have it in physical form too, because we've been talking about it being a digital newsletter that you sign up for, but wouldn't it be cool to actually get it, to receive it in the mail?
Well,
would you guys like to receive a physical quarterly?
Do you see when he's looking, the face he just made? It's like, shut up. Anyway, it's going to
Whatever you like.
Well, Cliff was telling me about this, but you had lost your copies of it.
Well, there was a house fire, and this thing happens, but I had the most complete collection of the Brandywine Star when I was a kid. And it's kind of like, wow, I have those comic books from back then. Well, they're gone too, but that stuff was gold. And the idea of having a new digital version, it would be great to see the accompanying paper version. But what it feels like, it's not just yakking on the internet with people who want to be polarizing and weird about stuff. It's actually, we love John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, and we love the feeling of the literature has brought us together as a community in a very special way. There's no other fandom like this fandom. And you get a reflection of that in the way that this information comes to you, and we can play the cozy video games, we can share the recipes online, but I love the idea of getting information, scholarship, and a little bit of fun coming to you 4 times a year. I just love this idea. And it's not just a nostalgia kick. It's kind of emblematic of what people are in the community, the synergy and the appreciation for what it is. Yeah, really.
I'd just say though, knowing the state of the postal system around the Western world, we might have to start the Pony Express up again. You three would be into delivering mail by hand.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It'll start from the Brandywine Festival. People will be emissaries and be conscripted into our postal service.
Jed can be the trainer of the ponies.
Yes, has anyone got a horse I can borrow? Talk to me later.
Well, Jay, with something like this, the Brandywine Star, how important is it to communicate to fans with real information, not fake news that's sensationalized, you know?
I mean, I think hopefully what you're hearing from each of us, I've certainly heard it, is the word community. And it's a common thread that I believe has to run through everything that we do. What we do and why we do it is a reflection of what you want. And if you're having great experiences, then we're doing our job. That's what we're here to do. And so the Brandywine is really the first step in that exercise to start to communicate, to give you opportunities to give feedback, and to build from there. So every one of these projects, I'm sure you heard, really revolves around what fans want. And so this is really just the beginning of us, taking that journey. We're starting an adventure here, and we're excited to be doing it with you. And we should always be coming back to you for why, right? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? It's for the fans. And so that's going to be central to everything that we do, Middle Earth Enterprises. And I think it comes through with everybody up here that that's a central reason for every product, every game, every experience. And I think the booth itself it is something that I hope is reflective of where we're going as a company, which is providing a great experience. That's really what that was intended to do. And it's heartwarming to hear how much people loved what we did. And so to see people tear up when they see it, I'm getting a little misty myself. Or people just walk up and say, "This just made me happy." That's what this is all about. So, anyway.
I mean, that is what it's all about. Cliff, you've been, at the forefront of fandom for 25 years, and what you're seeing, what you're hearing is the start of the next phase of this. It's not just a $1 billion TV show and a bunch of movies. It's more than that, isn't it?
It is. There's something about the literature and the amazing legacy of Professor Tolkien, but something more interesting than just the scholarship behind that is the way that popular culture responds. There's a book, this book which is so profound and impactful, and then look at all the different ways that culture has responded to that book. And I wonder if John Ronald was still with us, he'd be deeply, deeply proud and perhaps really a bit blown away by the fact that his words and the power of his storytelling can create that fiber, that thing, the cohesion of what brings us together. There's something, I don't know, there's something about it. Maybe it's the humanist in me, because I'm not as much a Catholic as John Ronald was, but I do believe in our better selves, in our day-to-day lives, our choices, and the way that we contribute to other people's lives. And if I ever learned anything from Tolkien, it's that, is that we are the ones who are best equipped to take care of one another. in this life. And look at the way Sam will be the one who will pick up Frodo when Frodo cannot walk any further himself. I mean, that is the way that message was crystallized for me, is how we support and take care of one another. To this end, to have these talented people from all these different disciplines and different artists and craftspeople, to take the stewardship as seriously as you are taking it, gives me a lot of hope, really. It really does. And I'm excited to be here every year, 26 years straight, 26 years in a row coming here to Comic-Con. And there's nothing like it, nothing like the people. Give yourselves a hand, nothing like it.
Well, come by both of our booths, all of our booths. You've got a Weta booth, and you've got the Middle-earth booth at Dark Horse, and come say hi to everybody that's on the panel. TheOneRing.net is over on aisle 1900. We are fortunate enough that Cliff had the idea of, they never made merch for the animated Hobbit movies.
Never did.
Ever. We are the first official merch for the animated Hobbit. And that's what's available on the show floor. John, you're giving away that statue.
We're giving a 101 life-size Bilbo from the animated. He's on display. So sign up for the newsletter, and that'll put you into it.
You're giving that away?
Not today, but we're gonna let people. We're gonna give people a couple more weeks to register, to sign up for the newsletter, and then we will do a drawing. And then there'll be other prizes too from a lot of our partners, Geek Orthodox and Medallion. So there'll be a lot of.
Yeah, where exactly is it housed? Is there a map or anything?
So yes, if you sign up, you'll be part of the newsletter. It could be physical, digital. This still has to be determined.
Bilbo to live with.
Yes.
And he's interchangeable. You can smoke his pipe or
Yeah, he has a magnetic hand, so you can move his hand,
jets
put
around.
this thing in his hand. But we felt the pipe was more work better for the pipe.
Well, it's really exciting that it's 2025 and we're getting, we've got a wonderful booth experience, and it's great to have Weta Workshop back on the show floor. But it's the best because you're here. And
Bilbo and Gollum that are on display. We have vinyls that Dark Horse Comics is built, and those are actually their sculpts. So if you stop by their booth, you'll be able to see the actual size of the vinyl.
Those are going to be vinyl toys?
I believe so. Yeah, vinyl toys.
That's another reveal.
And I think they're taking pre-orders, but they weren't ready for the show to be able to sell them here. So we're very excited about Adorable. And thank you for Dark Horse for getting those life-size made up and on display at our booth. Thank you.
Well, that's what we have for you today on the future of Middle-earth. We hope you enjoy everything that is on the show floor. Please come up, say hi to any of us, and we're happy that you're here to share in our adventure. And that's all we have.
Yep.